So we will be starting part 3 of our series. In this one, we're going to introduce a manual control slash information point, and we will be introducing an automated control in our data input. So if you have not seen part 1, that focused on the GUI development, and it's a very simple GUI, and we'll refine a little bit later. And in part 2, we developed the insert method, which allows us to take information from a CSV file and insert it into a database while moving the file along a path, a series of folders for its progress. So if anything crashes or anything, then the file will be at a known spot. So now we're going to put in a couple of controls. Now keep in mind what we're about to do will not work the way it's written the first time that you run the insert function or method. So if you don't have any information at all in the database, it will not work the way it's written. We could easily put a try exception situation in here. In fact, we would do it right where we're doing right now probably to cover that. But since that's just an initial run of when you're first populating some information in the database the very first time, I figured I didn't mess with it. Let's see here. I need to put that there, and then users tardeck, desktop, and YouTube, and stock.db. So if you recall correctly, we have a Sqlite database that is in our YouTube folder up here, stock.db, and this is our program right here, and then stock.db. There's nothing in new stock data at this time. Right now we do have stuff in archive data because we ran the insert last time and it moved the information from the download folder to that folder when all was said and done. So we'll move that information around a little bit so we can test this next part out. But for right now, let's just build in our manual control, if you will, and our information. We're kind of going to change our label down here to be a little more functional for us. So we need to put together a SQL statement. It's a nice simple one. We're going to grab the max of our date, and then we will grab that from prices, of course. And then we have C execute SQL, so we can actually go execute our statement. And then we will grab a result from that using our fetch all. And then for res in result, and that is newest date object equals date time, strp time, res, actually bracket 0, we want the first item out of there, and we just are going to grab in 10, and then the format that it's going to come in is 4-digit year. Oop. You gotta put a quote in front of that so it knows what we're doing. So it's a 4-digit year with a hyphen, and then a 2-digit month with a hyphen, and then a 2-digit day. And then we will close our connection, and then we will return newest date object. All right, so that part is done. Now we can come down here to our choose option. Now, obviously, we have push buttons for a reason to choose an option with, right? So we were kind of just putting that there for right now, just as a something to place in there. It's got me a little concerned there. Okay, so now we will utilize the information that we just are pulling out. So we're going to say db date, give it a couple spaces to give it a little room, plus, and then we need to convert our date object to a string to be able to print it out well. So cur date, and then we want to pull out of it just the first 10 digits, or characters, I should say. And then the rest of that is fine. And we can save that. And then we can do Python. If you need to do Python3, do so, but my default is Python3, so stock db.py. And now it's much more functional, right? So we've got db date. It's telling us what the last date is in there. So that's much better for us. Now we're going to build so that's the manual control, if you will, okay? Because if you know what date, if you know what the file name is or what date is in the file that you just received, then you're covered. Now we hit quit to get out of that, and we move on with our more automated control. So here we are going to come down to about here, this spot, SQL date object, equals cur date. All right, so we're just going to go up, grab the date, and shove it in SQL date object variable. Then in con, we're going to leave that be where it is. There we go. And then we're going to say, let's see here, I'll just kind of tell you what we're doing. Get date from CSV file. For file 1 in OS list direct current file path if file 1 ends with .csv let's give you a little room so you can see what we're doing here. So we're just grabbing the CSV only files out of this real quick with open current file path plus file 1, because we want to actually grab the file itself as CSV file. All right, sorry about that. I had a phone call I had to grab real quick. So I believe that we left off right here at CSV as, yeah, so as CSV file, then we're going to say data equals list CSV reader CSV file. So that'll get us reading our information out of there. And then we can say CSV date object equals date time. We're just going to convert to an object so we can compare it equally. Time data. And then here we just want the first line and the second character, second field, I should say. And then we've got %d, so that's a 2-digit day. And then this is the calendar month in 3 characters, so JAN for January, for instance, and then the 4-digit year. All right, so that's the format that comes over as. Get that there. Then, so we've done that. Then we go else. Print no CSV file. Actually, let's not do that. Let's bail on that concept, because that'll actually confuse us a little bit perhaps later on if we do that. So let's just go with setting the date object as 0 for right now. Yeah, let's do that. And then, because it'll be clear here why in just a second. Let's see. So if CSV date object equals SQL date object, now we'll do our printing for different things. No new date, therefore no import. Elif CSV date object equals 0. Here's where we're going to print that we don't have a CSV file. No CSV file. That'll make it a little better, I think. Else. All right, then we get into what happens if it's all good. So that's when we come down here and we bump that all over there. Okay, let's make sure that this all makes sense to us. Looks like it will, but we want to be sure. So we're going to say for file 1 in the directory, if it ends in CSV, then go get the date from it and assign it to CSV date object. If there isn't a CSV file there, then let's just assign it as 0. If CSV date object equals the SQL date object that we grabbed up here, then we don't want to do any actions, but we do want to say print no new date, therefore no import. If it is equal to 0, then that means that there's no CSV file, so we'll just say no CSV file. Then, if life is good and we have something ready to go, then we say if file ends with CSV, we're going to print the file so we know what it is that we're messing with like we did before. This is all just the same stuff that we did on our import. So this just draws in our import process. All right, so that should cover it. So let's save that. Everything's looking right. We'll run it without anything there first, just to see if it's working appropriately. There's our date again, looks good, it's in good position, 85 over there, it looks good. And no CSV file, as we would expect, because there is nothing in downloads. Now, if on the other hand, we come over here, and let's just grab one of these and shove it over there, and then we'll highlight this again, and then we'll say insert, and it came up with no date, therefore no import. All right, so that's good. The reason I got this no CSV file thing right here is there is a hidden folder in Mac. It's a .ds store folder, so that's why it said that. But the no new date, therefore no import, that looks great. Now you'll notice it didn't make it over here because it didn't upload. So if you remember right, we talked about utilizing this as our working folder. So since I know that we've already uploaded this one, I'm just going to drag it into our archive so we have it for later to mess with. But that sums up the control side that we're building for right now. It's a very simple, straightforward control, and I hope that you've enjoyed it. And if it was of any use to you, or if you liked it, please do hit like on here. Please feel free to subscribe as well. You'll catch my next video that's coming out. If you hit the little bell next to it, it will tell you when it arrives. The next one, we will start building out some reporting, and it will be this daily report, and that will drive some Excel action for us. So look forward to doing that, and hope you all have a fantastic day.